Good afternoon, good morning, good day from wherever you're watching us. Welcome to this session. We are going to talk about friendships, and I'll ask you, who are your friends? And you'll agree with me, we live in a world that is not a vacuum. We need people, we need friends, we need interrelationship with other people because we are social beings. And I'll ask you, who are your friends? Because our friends are the people who build our network. And if you would reflect in your own life, who can you count as your friends? As Christians, we have an example in God, in the Lord Jesus Christ, that he had the one who was John, then he had the three, Peter, James, and John, and then he had the 12 disciples that we all know. Then there were the 72, and eventually there was a crowd. And this tells us that we need friends. We need people to walk with us. We need people who will build us a network where we can always find our support system, because we are not living in a vacuum. We have things to handle. Sometimes times will be good, sometimes times will be bad, and sometimes we need somebody just to walk with us. And I'll ask you, who are your friends? I'm sure it could be a difficult circumstance or a difficult question to ask you. But friends, every one of us needs a friend. And friendships affect our interrelationship with others. How do we relate with others? How do we tell that who can make my network? And that is usually a challenge for most of us, because you can tell the kind of a person that one is by just looking at their friends. So we need to look at the kind of relationships that we build with our friends. And in this case, as a friend is somebody that you have trusted yourself with. You need to be patient also with your friends. And how can you trust a friend? Trust is something that breaks friendships very, very easily. And I would say for us to build trust in friendships, you need first of all to be very authentic, very real, Talk the truth. Let this person know who you truly are, Learn to talk the truth with your friends. Learn to say it as it is, so that the person that you're relating with will be able to accept you and to relate with you with that reality, that realness, that authentic person that you are. The core things that make you. And then the other thing that a friendship can be built on is being logical. Are you somebody who is consistent? Somebody who is, I can actually trust you that you'll be in my next event. You get? That I can always probably look forward. That so and so is consistent in my friendship, is not like a one-off thing, And then the other thing is being empathetic. Empathetic is when I'm probably in need, or even in happy times, that I can trust you to walk with me in the journey. You probably could not be feeling that pain, but there's a way you walk with somebody and that person empathizes with you. That's the cost of true friendship. And I learned that if you can learn to love, you can also learn to hate. And God is love. God loved us so, so much that he gave his only begotten son, to die on the cross so that we may get salvation. And one of the psychologists said that when they did an experiment, they realized that it is so, so easy that we are more sensitive to the gains and the losses in friendships than we are in the level of that friendship itself. So it is for us to ask ourselves, am I only attached to this person during the losses and the gains of it, or even in the friendship itself? Are you there for the long run of it? And if we look at, there's another hierarchy of needs called the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Self-belonging or self-esteem is one of the stages that each and every one of us somehow has to go through. That need for belonging, that need for friendship. You have the basic needs, which is, food, shelter, and all that, security. Ultimately, you need to reach to that point of self-esteem, self-belonging, that I need to feel that I belong somewhere. And that's why the issue of friendship is very, very key. Because these are the people who will define the kind of a person you are. Many people are getting lost in friendships because you're not defining even the boundaries to how far can I go with somebody. And we have various categories of relationships, my dear brothers and sisters. We have the friends, the people who are consistently supportive of you. And then we have enemies. They are people who constantly undermine you. Whether you do good or you don't do, you do bad, they are constantly undermining what you do. Those are enemies. And then we have frenemies. Frenemies are the people who are, on one side they support you, then on the other side they are not supporting you. In terms of, they will talk very well about you when you're with them. Then on the other end, they're the people who will undermine you at all costs. So they are there at the center, frenemies. And in this case, I'll ask you, in the three categories that I have stated, who are your friends, who are your enemies, and who are your frenemies? Communication is also something that is very key on top of building trust. Being able to make the verbal and non-verbal very clear to the friendships that you are in. Telling it as it is. That I can be able to tell, but then when my friend expresses this, they mean this. So let your communication be very clear. Give also constructive feedback so that your friends are able to know what is this that they need to improve in an area. And constructive feedback happens in very many areas. The good and the bad. You can only know who you are sometimes by getting to know what do people say that I am. That's what a friend is for. Constructive feedback that will push you to be the best version that God created you. And we look at the Bible. And I was reading somewhere that Jesus said that love your enemies and do good also to others. It is also our task. We have mentioned of enemies, those who constantly undermine you. But it is our duty to love. We say that God is love. So we ought to love each other. In Mark, I think chapter 2, we also learn of a story of a paralytic man who was carried by 4 friends. And these are people who, they looked at this guy who was paralytic, and this place that Jesus had gone was so full. And they decided to carry this paralytic man, the 4 of them, and they took the journey of, everywhere was closed. The door was closed, the windows were closed. So they used the roof. This story teaches me that their attention was not only to the 4. Their attention was on their friend. Can you ask yourself, do I have a friend who can carry me to Jesus at any cost? Friendship is about sacrificing your time, your money, your energy. We need friends in this life. And I pray that this year we will have friends who mold us and make us to the best version that we are. Because friendships are one of the sources of a social network that will help us in time of need, in time of the good and the bad. So may the Lord bless you and help you to make the right choices of friends, because you will know the kind of a person one is by just also looking at the friends that they are working with. God bless you so very much. Thank you.